ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाखाय चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरून् श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात देश तारिणे। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धून एव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री कृष्णा चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So in this particular shloka that we just read, it says that kaibalyam ma sma gama partha neta tvai upapadyate shudram hridaya daurbalyam tyaktva 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 parantapah. So there are very specific words. The word, one of the word is kaibalyam over here. Then there is this word called parantapa. There is word called shudram, and there is this word called hridaya daurbalyam. Okay, so we'll be just discussing about these words, because if you see kaibalyam means importance. The word to word meaning, if you see over here, it is importance. Then he is saying that upapadyate means it's not befitting you. Shudram, this is petty. Hridaya means heart, and daurbalya means weakness of the heart. And then Krishna is saying give up, tyaktva. Tyaktva yani tyag do. And he's saying uttishta, get up. And he's saying that parantapah, O chastiser of the army. So we'll just discuss these, in a short while. So in this particular shloka, if you see, what is Krishna trying to say over here? He is saying that, the Lord is actually encouraging Arjuna. He's saying that Shudram Hridaya Daulbalyam. So for a Kshatriya, to speak like that no, I cannot kill my own, praja, or I'm giving up all my weapons. So this is called actually weakness of the heart, or this is called cowardness. So Krishna is actually, telling me that, okay, why are you doing all this? This is called Shudram Hridaya Daulbalyam. So this kind of compassion is actually giving up the duty of a Kshatriya. And it is simply when you give up a duty of a Kshatriya or a Brahmana or a Shudra or a Vaishya, then it is called weakness of the heart. So even somebody wants to, leave everything and go to the forest, that is also called weakness of the heart. And that has no meaning. He's saying that Kaibalya Masma Gama Partha. I think, so this is, especially for you who are a Kshatriya, what will people say? So please give up this weakness of heart and get up, uttishta, get up, and you be courageous and you fight. So Krishna is now actually, encouraging Arjuna to fight. So in this world, people are very much ignorant, and they are criticizing Krishna. They're saying that, okay, why is Krishna instigating Arjuna? Arjuna is a very kind gentleman. He wants to practice non-violence. Why is Krishna, instigating him so much to fight? So that is called actually, this is called actually material vision of the people. Material vision means jada darshana. You're seeing only everything that is, jada. So Shastras are saying that atha Krishna namadi na bhavet grahyam indriya. So Shri Krishna namadi. So as soon as we come in touch with the chanting of the holy names, that is a very first connection with Krishna, Nam Adi. So the Shastra is again saying that atha Shri Krishna namadi. Adi means the very beginning. The Supreme Lord is Adi, where, Brahma also is saying that Ishvara Parama Krishna, Sajit Anand Vigraha, Anadir Adir Govind. Adir, he is using the word of there. So we have a connection with Krishna, but if we chant this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, immediately, we get a chance to come in contact with the Supreme Lord, and then our connection with Krishna begins. But this has to be actually practiced, and immediately nobody can realize Krishna. Of course, if one is very advanced in his bhakti or in devotional service, it is very possible immediately. So over here they saying Krishna Namadi. Nam means name. So Krishna has a name, okay, and that name is the beginning. But for that name is only Nama Guna Rupa Leela. So just like if we have the 9 devotional processes, starting from Shravanam, Ketanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhya, Atma Nivedanam. So Shravanam and Kirtanam is like, glorifying or describing the Supreme Lord. That yes, Krishna has a, form, and Krishna has a name. So name means only the name of Lord. Or Rupa means, Krishna has a form. Nama, Guna, Rupa, Leela. Leela means pastimes. Guna means all his, wonderful qualities that he exhibits when he is in association of his devotees. So in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is written that Atha Shri Krishna Namadi na bhavet grahyam indriya. Na bhavet grahyam indriya. By ordinary senses, you cannot understand Krishna or his names or his form or his activities. So when we are hearing any class, or when you are hearing the name of Krishna, we are coming in contact with him through oral reception. So, Krishna, but if we keep, our ears, and we do not, purify those ears, then, you will never understand Krishna. So, by hearing about Krishna, then we will be purified. And we have to avoid offenses, the 10 kind of offenses that is there, that we shall actually, help our own selves for this purificatory processes. Just like, if somebody wants to ignite a fire, so then there must be, there is a process by which actually you dry up that wood, and then, very soon you will, set the fire immediately. With a wet wood, on a wet wood, you cannot set fire very easily. But when the wood is dry, if you dry it in the sun, and then if you ignite or if you light fire to it, immediately it will, lit up. So similarly, actually, chanting is also helping us. It will take some time, but if we try and avoid the offenses, then immediately we will be purified. So there will be action for sure. So, uh, so this normal behavior of Krishna, nobody can understand. Even normal people cannot understand. So who can understand? Those people who have purified their senses. They can only understand. Those who have ordinary senses, they keep on making mistakes regarding Krishna, that why Krishna is doing this, and why Krishna did this, and why Krishna did that. So even a Krishna's devotee who is a Vaishnava, he can understand. So it is people misunderstand Krishna's activities. What to speak of Krishna's activities? Even devotees' activities are misunderstood by people. Vaishnavera kriya mudra vignena bujhaya. Even a Vaishnav Acharya who is doing whatever he is doing, even if he is the most expert, intelligent man. People cannot understand why he is doing this. His activities are not understood. So, therefore, we should not try to imitate the higher authorities, but we have to follow the order, injunction given by the higher authorities. And that is why over here Arjuna is expected that he should follow Krishna's order. So, Krishna is trying to actually provoke Arjuna to fight. So this does not mean that we can also actually provoke somebody to fight. No, that will be very immoral. For Krishna, actually, nothing is immoral. Whatever he is doing, all his activities are perfect. The Supreme Lord is all good, and we should accept it. Whatever he is doing, and whatever the normal person is doing without any authority's order, that is all bad. So the Lord does not require any order from anyone else. Why? Because he's Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha. He's the supreme controller. So he does not require anyone's instruction. Whatever he does is perfect. And this is a proper understanding about Krishna. And not that, okay, I have to study Krishna in my own way, and Krishna is not subjected to, our examination or our test. He's above everything, he's transcendental. And therefore, those who do not have this transcendental vision about Krishna, then they will misunderstand Krishna. So that is why over here Krishna is directly actually provoking Arjuna. He's saying that Parantapa. So this word is actually used over here, that okay, you are a Kshatriya, you are a king. Your main business is to actually chastise those who have actually done something wrong. So you cannot excuse those who have done something wrong. So in previous times, when anybody used to do something wrong, or if somebody has done some robbery or somebody has killed something, so this particular criminal is brought before the king. And if the king thinks it wise, then with his own sword, the king would immediately cut the head of that particular criminal. That was the duty of the Kshatriya king. And even some few hundred years ago, even in Kashmir also, the king, as soon as a thief was caught, he would bring they would bring that thief before the king. And the king, he was what he used to do is that if this thief has stolen something, immediately the king will cut off his hands, and he will be handless. So all the thieves, became warned. Oh, this will be a punishment if we, do stealing. So in Kashmir, there was no thieves as such. There was no stealing. There was no burglary in Kashmir. So even if somebody used to lose something on the road and it is still lying down, nobody will dare to even pick up that particular thing and take at their own respective home. Nobody will touch it also. So it was actually the order of the king that if something is lying down on the street, please do not touch it. Whoever has left it, he will come and collect it. So this was actually, this punishment was actually required. Why? Because they will not do that mistake again and again of stealing or killing or even rapes or murdering. So murderers nowadays are, not hanged, and this is only the mistake of the present state, that a murderer must be killed. There should be no mercy. Even if somebody is killing a human being or an animal, he immediately should be hanged. And that is why actually the Kshatriyas are required. So the king should be very strict. There should be no sympathy. But over here, Arjuna is showing sympathy towards his relatives. So now this, this state of sympathy is actually Hridaya Daurabalyam, he's saying that it is, weakness of the heart. But that is not a duty of the Kshatriyas. So Kshatriya has to discharge his duty because this particular duty has been ordered by the superior authority. that, okay, any person who is doing wrong, he should be killed immediately without any consideration. So this weakness of the heart and this kind of sympathy, ordinary person will not understand. Therefore, to understand Krishna, one requires very special senses, and not ordinary senses. Special senses means that it's not that okay, mm, pluck your eyes and you have to put some other eyes. No, special senses means we have to purify these only senses or these only eyes. So tat pravartena nirmalam. It's just like if we have got some diseases in the eyes, what do? We actually put some eye drops, and then the vision will be clear, and then we can see everything very clearly. So these current senses, my eyes, my nose, my ears, my tongue, they are all are actually currently, these are blunt senses. And with these blunt senses, we cannot understand who Krishna is. So that is why in the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu it said, Sevan mukhe hi jivadu swam eva spurti adaha. So this is that Atha Shri Krishna Namadi. So Krishna's name, form, and quality cannot be understood by the these imperfect senses or blunt senses. So then how we can understand? Then sevan mukhe hi jivado. Jivado means, jiva means tongue. So sevan mukhe, you do seva through the tongue. So the beginning stage is from the tongue, controlling the tongue. So if something is peculiar, then we have to understand Krishna by controlling the tongue, and then we will try to understand. So first we have to understand Krishna by controlling the tongue. But the Shastra's injunction is there. Now, this is not, anybody's injunction. It is written in the Shastras that it is Sevan Mukhe hi Jivhadu. So, in order to see Krishna, in order to understand Krishna, our first step or first business is to actually control the tongue. And that is why Srila Prabhupada says that do not eat meat, do not take liquor. Why? Because it is controlling the tongue. The tongue is the most strongest enemy as the sense, and it is like a perverted sense. And some people say that, oh, no, 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 we can eat whatever we like. Eating has nothing to do with the religion. But actually, Vedic Shastras say that, first of all, if you want to control the mind, you control your tongue. Then you can understand what is God. Without controlling the senses, we cannot control or we cannot understand Krishna. So the Vedic injunction is always perfect, that if you control your tongue, then you control your belly, then you control your genital. Srila Rupa Goswami in Nectar of Instruction, he says that Vacho Vegam, Krodha Vegam. Vacho Vegam means your tongue Vegam. Krodha means anger. Ko control karo. Udarapasto Vegam. Udarapada means, the belly. Manaso Vegam, mind, control your mind. Etan Vegan Yo Vishaheta Dhira Saprithvin Shishya. So anybody who is able to control his tongue, control his belly, control his genitals, control his anger, he is a fit person to make disciples all over the world. And this is one of the qualifications of the spiritual master, that if he is controlling his tongue, if he's able to control his anger, if he's able to control his belly, if he's able to control his mind, if he's able to control his genitals, then he's a fit person for becoming a spiritual master, and he can make disciples all over the world. And if somebody cannot control his tongue, then he cannot control his anger, he cannot control his mental concoctions, then how can he become like a spiritual master? That's really not possible. So anybody who has controlled all these senses is called Goswami. Go means senses, and Swami, go means go means senses, and Swami means control. Whoever has mastered these senses, or whoever has controlled these six kinds of urges, then he is actually called a Goswami or a Swami. So it starts from controlling the tongue. The tongue can be engaged in two ways. Either it can be engaged in the service of the Lord, or it can be engaged in the service of the external energy of the Lord, or Maya. So, how can you engage the tongue in the service of the Lord? By chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, always glorifying the Lord. Vasamji Vaikunta Gunanu Varnane. Vachamsi means always talking. Talking, many people, they talk something, rubbish. They talk something nonsense. There are two types of people. There is the swan class and there is the crow class. The swan class, they actually, they go to only those places where there is crystal clear water, where there is, always goodness prevailing, like the Manas Sarovar, there is crystal clear water, nice birds chirping, and they like to go over there. But the crow class of people, they will like to actually, watch television for hours and hours, go to pubs and parties, go to nonsense, places just to do sense gratification. They would like to go to some, place where, only liquor is being served. So, they don't have this taste. Their taste is only in either, drinking liquor. Their taste is only in actually eating meat. Their taste is only hearing, something nonsense. Their taste is only in actually criticizing people or hearing some criticism about somebody. They rejoice in hearing criticism of others. So, uh, talking is the business of the tongue, and tasting is the business of the tongue. But if we engage the tongue in the service of the Lord by glorifying, then the tongue is purified. So, whenever we take a vow that okay, whatever I shall speak, I will speak only glorifying the Supreme Lord and nothing more. That is actually tongue control. And if we do not allow the tongue to do any gramya katha means any discussion about which is not related to Krishna, that is called ग्राम्य कथा. जैसे गांव में बैठ के लोग है ना कथा करते थे कि इसके घर में ये हुआ और उसके घर में वो हुआ, somebody was doing this in this house and that in this house. So many times people sit together and do so much of nonsense talk. That should be controlled. Then we have to engage this tongue in the service of the Lord, and we shall not talk anything for sense gratification. Then that is called actually controlling the tongue. Or I cannot eat anything which is not offered to Krishna. This is called controlling the tongue. Means I will eat only Krishna Prasad, only that food which is intended to cook for Krishna and which has been, honored by Krishna, and then that becomes a prasada. Only that food I will be taking. So these are very small things, and these things have got a very great value. And by doing this, Krishna will be very pleased. Why? Because this is an austerity. And when you do some austerity, then Krishna will reveal himself to you. We cannot understand and we cannot see Krishna. We cannot even order Krishna that, oh, Krishna, please come in front of me, I want to see you. No, Krishna is not subjected to anybody's order. And that is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us, this Shishtashtakam, where in one of the paragraphs he says, Ashlishava Padara Pinashtu Mam Panashtu mam marma hatam karotu va adrisham. So he's saying adrisham. He says that everyone wants to see Krishna. A devotee, but a pure devotee says no. If you don't like to see me, that's all right. You can break my heart, but I will always keep praying to you. I'll always keep saying to you. I will always be dedicated to you. You can come and break my heart, that is also accepted, but still I will keep on worshipping you. You are my Lord, birth after birth after birth. Now this is actually pure devotion. Not that okay, we have asked Krishna to come before us dancing and he did not come, so I give up, this. No, that is not the way. Krishna consciousness movement is like, it has some value. It's not like that, this movement has no value. It's not like that. So this particular attitude which is there, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is singing Ashlishyava padaram pinashtumam maddarshanam armada karotu vam yatha tatha va vidadhatu lampato mat prananasta suseva napar. This particular attitude that whether you accept me, whether you reject me, I will still keep on worshipping you. This pure devotional attitude is the attitude of Srimati Radharani. Krishna left Vrindavan. All the gopis, they passed their days simply crying for Krishna. But they never gave up Krishna. They never condemned Krishna. Whenever somebody came, they were thinking that, Krishna has come. Or over here, when they're thinking about Krishna, so Krishna was also thinking about the gopis. Because these gopis are the greatest devotees, they're the topmost devotees in Vrajalila. So there is no comparison of the gopi devotion to anybody. And therefore, Krishna is always obliged to them. Krishna said to the gopis that, you have satisfied me with your service. I cannot return you anything for your love. So, Krishna, who is the, supreme personality of Godhead, who is all powerful, he is unable to repay the debts of the gopis. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying that Ramya Kachita Upasana Vrajavadu Vargena Sakalpita. There is no more better worship than that was conceived by the gopis. So the gopis, that is why, all the time Krishna puts them on the topmost gopis. And amongst these gopis, Srimati Radharani is the topmost. And therefore Radharani is actually even greater than Krishna. And this is actually the Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy. But this requires a bit of a time. And as and when you keep on practicing, you'll definitely understand. So, the activities of Krishna, when they are seeing Krishna, people are seeing Krishna, and they, if they simply see that, okay, Krishna is actually provoking Arjuna to fight. Oh, Krishna is immoral. Why he want to do this? So this is actually a wrong vision. We have to see Krishna with some separate eyes, which I already mentioned, that you have to purify your eyes. And that is why Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita also, actually in the 4th chapter, 9th shloka, he's saying that Janma karma cha me divyam evam yogiti tyaktva deham punarjanma neti mameti so Arjuna. My transcendental activities, if anybody can understand, then he becomes immediately liberated. And that is not ordinary liberated. Ordinary liberation is like, you just get, the 5 types of liberation. Just go. But the liberation of going back home, back to Godhead, and being in the association of the Supreme Lord. Tyaktya deham punarjanma neti mameti konteya. So you get the greatest liberation. Tyakta deham means after giving up this body, deham, na punarjanma. Neti mameti so Arjuna. You will not take any birth again. So, you don't get those 5 types of liberation. That is called Sayujya, Sarupya, Shashti, Salokya. These types of liberations you don't get. So, Sayujya means, to merge into the existence of the Brahman, the Brahmalaya. That is also liberation, but that is not the highest liberation. So the Mayavadis or the Gyanis also, they also want to merge into the existence, the Brahman existence. That is also called Mukti or liberation. But that is called Sayujya Mukti. But for a devotee, this Sayujya Mukti is just like hell. Kaivalyam Narkayate. For a Vaishnava, it is actually, being monism or to merge into the existence of the Supreme is compared to hell, because a Vaishnava or devotee does not aspire to merge into the, existence of the Supreme Lord. The Gyanis are very much anxious to merge into the existence of the Supreme Lord or the Brahman effulgence. And the Karmis, their highest aim is to be elevated to the higher planetary systems. Karmis want to go to Swargaloka, where Lord Indra is there, Brahma is there, and they have their own ambitions of going to, heaven. And except the Vaishnavas, the Vaishnava philosophy, all other literatures, all other Christians, all other scriptures, sorry, they actually aim how to be elevated to the heaven. They are not saying that above heaven also the Lord's personal abode is there, and that is the main aim of going over there. So heaven is also, described in the, Shastras, uh, and there are 33 crore demigods also. They also have their separate planets. So, you know, uh, so these 33 crore demigods who have got their separate this, so they are thinking that, oh, we will go into these planets, we'll be enjoying, and so actually these these separate planets, they are called as Tri Dashapura. Three means three, and Dasha means 10. So, Tri Dashapura Akasha Pushpayate. Akasha Pushpa means something, imaginary, something imaginary, a flower in the sky, something like that. So, but a flower has to be in the garden, but somebody is imagining, oh, there is a flower in the sky, and some imagine, but for a devotee, they don't want to be promoted to the heavenly planet. Just like, that there is a flower in the sky or a Swarga Loka in the sky. So there are yogis, there are karmis, and yogi means yoga indriya samyama, means yogi means that he has learned the art of controlling the senses. That is actually yoga practice. Our senses are very, very strong, and just like we devotees also, we also first try to control the tongue. How are we controlling the tongue? The tongue has two functions, either talking or eating or speaking, right? So how to control the tongue with these two functions? So when you're talking, you talk only about Krishna or his devotees or his pastimes or his names or about his form. And then when you're eating, then what do? You eat only Krishna Prasad, right? You don't eat anything else. You don't eat junk food. This is not offered to Krishna. You don't eat meat. You don't eat, uh, you know, uh, anything that is not offered to Krishna. So then, uh, why are actually, the Vedic Shastras asking us so much to, control senses, control the tongue, and all the other senses also? So even the yogic people, they also, the mystic yogis, they also actually try to control their senses. And why are they trying to control their senses? Because these senses, they are like serpents, सांप की तरह है. Like, you touch it anywhere, immediately, they get up and they want to actually bite. So there will be injury all the time. So these senses, wherever they are raised, they will try to actually, bite somebody else or be bitten by somebody else. So for example, as soon as they are provoked, the senses are provoked, then there will be some injury. As soon as there is some impulse, or illicit sex, then there are so many difficulties. Nowadays this thing has become so very common. Formerly in India, actually it was not very common. So in America also, this illicit sex is there. In India also, nowadays illicit sex is going on very strongly. In the previous time, the girl was got married at the age of 12 and 11 only. Why? Because the girl always requires, protection at three stages. When she is with her father, she requires protection from her father. When she gets married, she gets protection from the husband. And when she becomes old, then her son protects her. And because if she mixes with, the opposite sex, or with boys or with men, somehow other than there will be immediately illicit sex, and then she might become pregnant, and it will be, no more possible for her to, get married. So immediately, touched by this poisonous serpent. And Vedic civilization in those days was so very strict. Why? Because the whole aim of Vedic civilization in those days was how to go back home, back to Godhead, to the Supreme Lord. And it was not sense gratification that, okay, I'll just eat, drink, and be merry and enjoy my life, and, I'll be very happy. No. At that point of time, in Vedic times, that was not the aim of life. Everything was actually planned with the aim of pleasing the Supreme Lord. Or even any varna and ashrama were also made, or the brahmanas, the kshatriyas, the vaishyas, everyone had to actually strictly follow the rules and regulations of a particular division which they belong to. If I'm a brahmana, then I must act as a brahmana. If I'm a kshatriya, then I have to act according to a kshatriya. That is why Krishna is saying that, okay, you are a kshatriya, and why are you talking all this nonsense? You must just get up and fight. So in two ways you should not do this. Firstly, because you are a kshatriya, you should not do this. Secondly, you are my friend, that is why you should not do this. And because this is your weakness of heart, you should actually, not you should give up this weakness of heart and you should fight. This is actually Vedic civilization. So means fighting for a kshatriya, uh, a brahmana is not supposed to fight. A brahmana is what? Brahmana has, sama, dama, tapa. Sama means, he has to be very equipoised. Satya, he has to speak always the truth. Dama means controlling the senses. So he's practicing how to become truthful. He's practicing how to become clean. He's practicing how to control the senses, how to control the mind, how to live a very simple life, and how to apply whatever Vedic wisdom he is reading, how to practically apply it into my life, and firmly, be fixed up in this conviction that, okay, I am a Brahmana and this is my duty. Similarly, the duty of the Kshatriya, he should be convinced that, okay, I'm a Kshatriya, I'm supposed to fight. I am a Vaishya, then I have to actually protect the cows and do actually agriculture. So these vows were actually very strictly followed. But in previous times, these vows were followed. But nowadays, these divisions have actually intermingled with each other, and that is why people do not know that whether I am born in a Brahmana family or a Kshatriya family, and what are my duties. So even in previous time, people used to inspect, they used to tour, that okay, whether the kings used to actually tour, that okay, whether the brahmana class is following his duty properly or not, or the kshatriya is doing his duty properly or not. The kings used to actually take a tour of their kingdom. So that king was not touring for his own pleasure, or he was not touring that, okay, let me go and roam back and do some enjoyment and come back. So if that they used to go in some disguise, and they used to see whether this particular varana and ashrama dharma was being maintained properly or not, whether people are observing these vows properly or not, or people are just wasting their lives like vagabonds or hippies. So that cannot be. But nowadays, the government, there is no, there is not much of inspection, and there are so many people who are not even employed, and people are just passing their time, wasting their time. And the government also is not very much alarmed that, okay, why there is so much employment, and why we should not provide employment to these people who are unemployed. So people should not falsely become brahmanas. People should not become falsely kshatriyas. And over here, Arjuna is trying to become falsely a kshatriya, and that is why Krishna is rebuking him that no, you must do this. This is the duty of a king. This is the duty of the government. Now, you should be doing this. So then that will have some practical value. But nowadays, everything is topsy turvy, and that is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu always said that in this particular Kali Yuga, it is very difficult to go back to Godhead, and the original process also of civilization is disturbed. So, what should we do in this particular age of Kali Yuga? Then he's saying that Harer Nam, Harer Nam, Harer Nam eva kevalam, Kalo naste eva naste eva gatir anyatha. So he's saying that in this particular age of Kali, it is very difficult to take us back to this original process of civilization. Then what you should do, you should just keep on chanting the name. Just take Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Harer Nama Eva Kilam. You just chant. So controlling the senses is actually, for a Vaishnava, it is Duradanta. Duradanta means formidable. So it is very difficult to control the senses. But The yoga process, the mystic yoga process, just to practice how to control the senses, it was very, this. But for a devotee, if he just controls his tongue, he's engaging his tongue in chanting the holy names of the Lord, and that is more than enough for him. So, no, two things actually primarily, we were discussing actually is that to how to engage the tongue in either chanting or eating Krishna Prasadam. And if we are doing these two things properly, then we are actually a perfect yogi. So, for a devotee, there is no trouble with the senses because the devotee knows how to engage each and every of his senses in the service of the Lord. Rishikena Rishikesha Sevaya Bhakti Rujati. That is bhakti. Rishikesha means actually the senses. And when these senses are only engaged in the service of the Lord, Rishikesha, Rishikesha means the master of the senses. Who is the master of the senses? Krishna is the master of the senses. Then when we are applying these senses to serve the master of the senses, then there is no need of practicing any other sort of yoga. Neither Hatha Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, nothing. Automatically, they are locked up in the service of Krishna. And, they have no other engagement. That is why Krishna, in the Bhagavad Gita also, he's saying that, what is the shloka number? 6th chapter. Yoginam api sarvesham mat gate antar atmana. Shraddhavan bhajate yo mam same yukto atma matah. He's saying that anybody who's a first class yogi, who's always thinking of me, who's always chanting my holy names, and who is actually just engaging his tongue in serving me, he's a first class yogi. So even over here, actually, Krishna wants that Arjuna to be a first class, Kshatriya. And that is why he is, instigating Arjuna that why are you indulging in this weakness of mind? You are under my protection. I am ordering you to fight. Why are you denying this? I am the highest authority. I am telling you to fight. So please fight. This is what actually, Arjuna is saying. So this is the, sum and substance of this particular shloka. I halt my speech over here. If anybody has any queries, doubts, I think there are some questions in the chat box. Rupa Raja Mataji is saying that, give you 1 minute. She's saying that Goswami 6 types of senses: tongue, chanting Hare Krishna mantra, eat only prasad instead to cook for Krishna and honored by Krishna. What are the other types that then tongue and ways to control? Wondering because there are 5 senses, but you say 6 type of senses. Yeah, the genitals are also there, no? The urges of the genitals are also there, right? So that way. So Sejal Mataji is asking, what is Krishna Prasad? Good question. Krishna Prasad means that whatever I'm cooking for the family members, say we every day cook some breakfast like poha, upma or something. Okay. So before I eat it, I keep a separate plate for Krishna. Okay. And that plate should not be used by any other family member. So I use a very fresh plate brought from the bazaar and fresh katori, fresh glass water, fresh spoon. And before eating anything, before I eat anything, I serve it to the Lord. I keep it in front of the Supreme Lord and I chant certain mantras. I will put it on the WhatsApp group how to offer food to the Lord. There is a proper process given step by step. And then you keep it over there for 10 minutes and you sit outside, or sit down and you chant 1 round of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Okay. And after 10 minutes, then you take back, then you empty the dal katori into the dal kapatila, into the dal vessel. the sabzi katori into the sabzi vessel, the rice into rice, chapati into chapati. And that way, whatever you are eating, before that you offer it to the Lord. And when the Lord accepts that, then it becomes prasada. And that is called Krishna Prasad. Prasad basically means actually mercy of the Supreme Lord. हम बोलते हैं ना कि भगवान की कृपा चाहिए, भगवान की कृपा चाहिए, तो भगवान की कृपा अपने आप ही मिल जाएगी जब आप भगवान से सब कुछ कनेक्ट करते हो. When you connect everything with the Supreme Lord. Like I remember when we were in school, college, we used to get one pencil and rubber also, we used to offer it to the Lord. Before, we used to keep it before the Lord. Okay, you please, this. But because that time we were very small and we were being taught that way. So then it became like a habit for us. Now anything comes new in the house, or fruits come in the house, we offer it to the Lord first. Or anything new coming, somebody buying a new sari, somebody buying a new cloth, anything, we just keep it in front of the Lord, and we offer it to the Lord thinking that, okay, Krishna is the master of this house. Krishna is the proprietor of this house, and I am Krishna's servant. That is why my master will eat first, and because I am the servant, then I will eat whatever is left over by the master. नौकर ऐसे ही करता है ना, कि जो कुछ भी बचा कचा है वो खा लेता है. But over here, the Lord is so merciful that the Lord just glances and he eats. It's not like that you'll keep a full plate and then pura plate gayab ho jayega, and then your family members will stay hungry. No, Krishna, as I told you, can do any activity from any part of his body. Like with my eyes, I can only see. I cannot walk. I cannot talk. But with Krishna, in Krishna's case, is that Krishna can eat with his eyes also. Krishna can walk with his eyes also. Krishna can talk with his eyes also. Right. So that's where this is called how to offer food to the Supreme Lord. Okay, Sejan Mataji, any more clarification on this? I will post it in the group that how to offer. I have that particular file. Maybe I'll just post it by day end today. Okay. Okay. Bindu Mataji saying that, Mataji, can you please provide soft copies as it is difficult to write notes? The other shlokas you teach while explaining. Okay. So the other shlokas, which actually they've come very spontaneously. Means I don't have to think for them, and they are into connection, and they just very spontaneously they come. But still, I'll try my level best that I will revisit my own recording and I will give you the shlokas, Bindu Mata. Is that okay with you? Okay. Anybody else has any question or clarification? Hope things are a little clearer, or is it going too much above your head, or is it, it's too heavy for you, all these classes, or are these classes, okay for you all? If it is going too heavy, tell me, I can more simplify it more better for you all. Or if something is going above the head, or then you can just tell me. Okay, Rupa Mataji is saying good, Mataji. No, Mataji, it's perfect. Okay, even Bindu Mataji is saying no. Okay, fine. Okay, so if nobody has any questions, then I have a question for you all from the lecture itself. So, okay, I'll just ask you some. It will be just like a revision for us. Okay. So, what is Hriday Daurbalyam? What is Hriday Daurbalyam? Meaning of Hriday Daurbalyam?
Weakness of the
Yes.
heart.
Weakness
Mataji.
of the heart. Yes, Prabhu. Yes, absolutely. Weakness of the heart. Okay. And then, what are the two ways of controlling the tongue?
Chanting Hari name and eating Hari Prasad, Krishna Prasad.
Absolutely correct, Sejal Mataji. Perfectly right. Yes. And then um, who cannot understand Krishna?
Six types of people, 4 types of people. Moda.
Okay. But those whose senses are also not purified, they can also, not understand Krishna with the blunt senses. So we cannot understand Krishna with the blunt senses. Okay. Okay. Then, if I want to understand Krishna, then what is my first thing that I need to do? If I
Faith
want,
and control senses.
yeah, control what?
Senses. Tongue.
Control the tongue. Yes, 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 yes. And who is the master of these senses? What is his name?
Rishikesha.
Yes, absolutely, 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 absolutely. So, okay. If I allow my tongue to speak anything nonsense, then what is it called? Prajalpa or Gramya Katha, right? It is
Yes,
called
ma'am.
Prajalpa or Gramya Katha. Okay. And who is the highest devotee of the Supreme Lord?
Radharani Mataji.
His service.
Radharani. Yes, Srimati Radharani is the topmost devotee because she is even greater than Krishna, right? Okay. And what does Sayujya Mukti mean?
In his-
Merging into
into
Brahman
his-
effulgence.
Yes, merging into the existence of Brahman. Absolutely correct. Yes, 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 yes. And who are those people who want to merge into the existence of the Brahman effulgence?
Jnanis.
Yes, absolutely.
Mayavadis.
Jnanis, Mayavadis. Yes, yes, absolutely, absolutely. The Jnanis want to. Oh, so everybody is attending, very attentively hearing the class. Huh? That's really nice. I mean, I'm getting a certificate over here that everybody is. What is the certificate for a teacher when the students are answering their questions properly? So, and then, okay. So, who is the first class yogi?
Who controls his tongue?
Chants, yeah, and who chants Maha Mantra?
Okay, yes.
Engages his tongue in service of the Lord.
Yes, 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 absolutely. First class yogi is one who is always thinking about the Supreme Lord. Absolutely. Correct, correct. Yeah, yeah. Oh, this is something really wonderful. So, okay, fine. Maybe we should have this quiz, every at the end of every Bhagavad Gita class. Okay, thank you so much, devotees. Thank you so much for your patience hearing. And
Thank you, Mataji.
next Wednesday. So our regular Bhagavatam reading will be at 9:15. I won't log off. I will be just, logged in only. But I will just go and have a sip of water and come back again at 9:15. Okay. Thank you so much, devotees. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrind ki jai. Hare Krishna.